And I was in a working party carrying goods forward when suddenly there was a deafening explosion, and well, everything went black. When it had cleared, I couldn't find the other men that I was with, but I was standing near, I could see a shell hole, and there was a man in it, and he was crying out for help. He was screaming in pain. All right, mate, I said, I'll try and get you out. And I reached down and I managed, it was risky because I could easily have been pulled in, but I managed with the strength that I had to pull him out of the shell hole. I said, can you stand up, mate? No, he said, I've been shot in the back. All right, mate, I said. And one way or another, I managed to get him over my shoulder so that he was like over my shoulder, and I tried to carry him. Well, it was a long way back to the dressing station, and it was very hard work because it was wet mud and slippery. But finally, must have taken a couple of hours, I got him to the dressing station. And there was a stretcher on the ground, and I put him down, belly down on the stretcher, and the orderly said to him, name? Duncan, he said. R.S. Duncan. Duncan, I says. I know you. It's me, Hubert Trotman. You know? Oh, Hubert, he said to me. Oh, thanks, Hubert. You saved me. We were at school together, weren't we? Well, I knew him, see. He was the dentist's son, Freddie Duncan's son, year below me at the British school. So anyway, I had to leave him there, and a couple of weeks later, I received a letter from my sister back at home, and she had a message for me. She said that she'd seen R.S. Duncan. He'd come to the shop, but he was in a bad way. He was using crutches. He was able to get around, but he was in a lot of pain. But he wanted to say thank you for getting him out of that shell hole. So I wrote back and said, pass on my greetings to him and his family. Well, months later, and well, even longer than that, it was more than a year later, the war was over. And I went back home, and I had to go straight back to work because my father had become ill with worry, what with me being away, and he couldn't run the baker shop anymore. So the first night I got home, my mother said to me, Hubert, can you do the baking? I was working so hard. And I got married as soon as I got home because my girl, well, she had been waiting for me, and we decided together we would wait to see if I survived before we got married. Many others didn't wait, but I did. And I was working every hour, and I said to my wife, could you make me an appointment with Freddie Duncan, the dentist, because all my teeth were in a bad way. I'd had an accident with a sledgehammer in the trenches, and all my teeth were broken. Well, she came back, my wife, and said, he'll see you this evening at 7 p.m. I thought that was quick. So I went to see the dentist, and I said to him, I'll have all of my teeth out and I'll have a replacement set. Well, that's what he did. He extracted all of the teeth that were left in my mouth, but he said, I can't put in the new teeth yet. I'll have them made, and it'll take a while for the gums to heal anyway. So I had to go back a couple of weeks later, and he put in the new dentures, the new teeth, and that was all right. They were, you know, shiny, nice white teeth. And I went away, and he asked me to go back in again to check them. Well, he kept asking me to go back to check them, and I was too busy. So in the end, I said to my wife, can you go down to the dentist and ask for the bill? Well, my wife came back and she said, Mr. Duncan says there's nothing to pay. What? I said. Well, he said he owes you a debt of gratitude. He told me a story, Hubert, that you never told me. And she began to tell me what the dentist had said. He said he owed me a debt of gratitude because I pulled his son out of that shell hole, and I carried him to the dressing station. And because of that, their son had come home. R.S. Duncan, was badly injured because he was shot in the back, and it was very severe. And of course, I hadn't told you this, but by this time, he had died. He died of his injuries. But the thing was, what the dentist said to my wife is that because of your husband, our son died at home in our arms. And if your husband hadn't pulled him out of that shell hole, we would never have known what happened to him. But because of what your husband did, he died with us, and we were able to bury him, and we got a place to remember him. And I had your husband back up here to see me unnecessarily, because each time I intended to say thank you, but I just couldn't find the words. Anyway, next time I was in the city, in the town centre, who did I see walking along the pavement towards me but Freddie Duncan himself. So I put out my hand, shook him by the hand and said, "It's all right, Mr. Duncan. It's all right, I understand." And that's the story.